Hello and welcome back to The Return of the Nine. My name is Lawrence, and I was playing Orion, a human pugilist who last we saw was with the Raven Queen. Also joining us tonight is Carolyn.
I'm playing Regali, the human glamour bard.
And with us tonight as well is Hobie.
Hi, I'll be playing Frederick, the half-elf Hexblade Warlock.
And the fourth member rounding out the party of heroes tonight, as always, is Tom.
Oh, playing Ember, the Furbolg Wildfire Druid.
And bringing the heat tonight is our DM, Dennis. For those of you following along, our adventurers ended off on an interesting note last session. Orion and Frederick were dragged into a pit of scum tar-like substance as they battled the aspect of presumably, the Ebon Triad aspect. Orion attempting to save his friends and sacrificing himself in his old Ben Kenobi moment. Ember and Regali managed to flee this dungeon, bringing it down as they burnt the rafters on their way up. And the two of them have made it back safely to the wizard Alustrin. And last we saw, Orion and Frederick were in the Shadowfell.
Did we ever figure out what happened to Red?
No.
Oh,
No.
What happened to Red?
We actually
We don't
Red
know.
Green's still down.
no, because we
Red
looked
Green's
for
still
him.
down there waiting for you.
No,
We looked.
We looked,
We
and
looked.
he was gone, which put him back
That's
at
why
the
we
top.
went and investigated the pool.
Yep. We did look for him, and he was gone, so that put him back up at the top of my suspect list.
We did the secret knock and everything. We looked, and I'm pretty sure he's dead. Regali's pretty sure, first of all, that Orion and Frederick are dead, and also idiots. And she's just gonna add Red Green to that list.
So, with that, Dennis,
Ember
we'll
would have
turn it
looked
back
for him
over to
before
you.
leaving.
Regali's sure Ember's in denial.
Yeah.
Ember is in agreement that they're idiots.
I guess I should ask Frederick, how much control do you have with this disc?
the disc that brought us here? Well, from my information that I have on it, it allows me to transport to our current location. It does not specifically say that I can use it to get back.
And what is your current location?
Shadowfell.
Where specifically in the Shadowfell? Do you remember from the last time you were here?
It is the Raven Queen courtyard. The little stuff. I'm trying to think of exactly what it was called. Was it called like Lorian or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and who were all those drunkards with swords?
Those were essentially the Raven's Queen's Green Berets, more or less, like Navy SEALs.
SEAL team, yeah.
Yeah. Elite fighting force.
All right.
So
So
just appear there and show off.
Raven Team 6.
as
We should make
They're
this.
the murder of crows.
Yes! Oh my god!
I like that.
as you are in this little courtyard exchanging stories, Orion shares a few, Frederick shares a few new ones. Each time you hear a story, you're nodding with approval. Oh yeah, that must have been horrible, or that must have been quite the adventure. And as soon as someone starts telling a new story, the one you just heard just kind of evaporates. and goes somewhere else. After a while, Frederick Shar wants to go recharge your disc as you walk Orion to the big gates to the Fortress of Memories. And there you leave him staring at these two big doors with only the slightest hint of a clue of what's about to happen to him. And then what happens to Orion happens to Orion. Frederick Shar takes you, and you are shown one of the deepest, darkest mysteries in the Shadowfell, how they recharge their transportation discs and how to use them to get back to the prime material plane at the very point that you left.
Fair enough. Is there any way of
At the very
altering
point he left? That point doesn't exist anymore.
Is there any way of altering that? Like if that spot is maybe obstructed?
Hmm.
That very spot technically was under water, for lack of a better term.
Under tar.
Yeah.
Under tar.
Given
It
say
was
an
terrible,
emergency
evil liquid.
situation.
Horrible.
Emergency situation, hopping out of a place that is highly dangerous and may or may not be there when we return. Would it still pop us in there? So if it was inside of a caved-in mine shaft or anything like that?
Right, exactly. Shar says, if you're ever in dire need of a change of location on your return trip, you should
Pray.
be humble and ask one of us, Shatterkai. We know how to circumnavigate about 50, 60 feet either way.
Okay. I mean, you know what? We'll take what we can get. I'm not going
But the disc will not do that by itself. You have to have your own special. It's kind of like control. You have control over the disc to get somewhere and then get back. But at that instant, when you're between dream and wake, between death and life, you're kind of straddling that veil like all Shatterkai must do. There's a point where you initiate the disc and you can pull what's known as Dimension Door as you're looking down at the snapshot from where you left.
to.
But unless you have that spell and you've practiced using it while you're straddling that knife edge curtain, you wouldn't be able to do it successfully. You might end up transporting yourself like neck deep into a floor,
Well, that's basically where we'd be anyway. So
or your head and shoulders, stuck in a tree.
that'd be terrible. That would be a fate worse than death.
Wonder if that's what
Um,
happened to Nabu.
She would be very happy to help you, but the range on Dimension Door, I believe, isn't it 50 feet?
I believe it's
Dimension Door is
500
like-
for a Dimension Door.
Dimension Door is pretty intense.
Dimension door. Hang on.
Oh no! What? I'm sorry. It's what's the one where you skip from shadow to shadow?
Is that like Misty Step or?
Misty Step.
Oh, I know Misty Step. I can do
Yeah.
Misty Step. That's
You
right.
can do Misty Step. Okay, all you lack is the practice then.
What better
and-
time?
Shar.
Okay, that's
Dimension Door
again
would be much
only
better.
like 50, 60 feet. I'm not sure there is 50, 60 feet down
Well,
there.
to be fair,
anymore.
that's 30 feet.
It
30
is 30 feet. Yeah.
30 feet. That's
Yeah.
worse. I wish this disc would just give you like an error message if the destination could no longer be reached.
URL
okay.
URL not found.
I should point out I was hesitant to collapse the cavern.
Whoa. You hardly put No.
Play back the video.
Play that video of you saying, yes, let's absolutely capbox this whole place.
So while Frederick and Shar are having this conversation, Orion
Convince me with fire. Sorry.
Orion wanders back into this little courtyard garden area. He's looking a little beleaguered, almost like he's exhausted from lack of sleep.
That'll happen.
And he enters the courtyard and looks around and says,
Look at Shar. I recognize Shar. I recognize most of these people. I look at Frederick. Who are you?
Well, that's interesting.
now I should explain, Shatter Kai, if you were to take this vivid picture of a bunch of fey elves standing around looking very badass and then just sucked all the color out of it, that's what you're looking at. Except for Frederick, who's in full color.
Even as you look at Orion, Frederick, it might not be to the same extent as the other Shatterkai, but Orion just looks a little
muted.
more grayscale.
A little muted.
Going
And
goth with the other shadow guy.
and I'll look at Frederick. I said, I think I'm supposed to go back to you. I don't remember, but who are you again?
My name is-
I'm Orion.
Nice to meet you. My name is Frederick.
Is this a temporary thing like the blindness?
I'll turn to Shar. I said, am I good to go back so I can continue?
Dennis, you're muted.
You're muted.
Frederick here has the disc, and he knows how to use it. Frederick, Orion, Frederick, because Shar knows exactly what happened. Frederick has an idea what
I
happened.
can kind of assume what happened.
So, Frederick, and what I will do is I will give Frederick kind of a rundown of what I was doing, leading up to me being here. Tell him about the adventures of me finding out about the Ebon Triad and going to Diamond Lake. But at no point do I recognize you, and at no point do I mention Ember or Regali.
Okay.
And so at the end of me bringing you up to speed, I'm like, so I think you're my ride. I think you are my way back to the material plane. Are you willing to join me so that we can make sure that our queen isn't bothered by this attempt to raise Baal and make an uber super death god, because we need our queen to stay in power?
I completely agree with you. And yes, I will aid you on this journey. And I think I know a couple other people on the material plane who will help us out as well.
Okay.
All right. Shar does not know Dimension Door, which is what you're going to need instead of Misty Step. So she hands you into the capable hands of Talpor.
Okay.
As opposed to poor Tao?
All right. Talpor is another Shatterkai, and his favorite weapon is the spiked chain. He holds out his disc and tells everybody to grab on. I'm sorry. You're going to spend about an hour, Frederick, telling Talpor how it looks, where you want to be transported, what it smelled like, what it looked like. I mean, everything that you can, every detail that you can remember before he decides to go ahead and zip you guys back.
Yeah.
So,
While he is doing that, I will use that hour to my advantage. And at the end of an hour, Frederick, when you turn and look at me, and I am wearing leather armor now, I've got a really different looking knife at my belt. But when you turn around and you look at me, I've got a raven on my shoulder.
Ooh,
So
I like it.
grab the disc and off we go.
all right. You guys are outside. You can't quite get to the exit of the mine, but you are definitely out of the cave-in area, but you're still in the mine. And as soon as you get there, Frederick kind of looks around, nods. Yeah, I know the way out. Okay. Tal will take off and bid you all adieu.
For your assistance.
Okay. And you guys walking back?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Okay.
The mine is completely abandoned. The barracks, the big house is full of activity. It seems like there's some kind of auction going on. The dwarf that was murdered, they are now selling every scrap of furniture, every little bit of anything that's of value. And there's a crowd of townsfolk outside, and the auctioneer is auctioning off stuff. You see 4 rather grim-looking humans standing around off to the side, looking like they wish they could just beat somebody up. And you recognize them as the mine managers that used to be in charge and have since been fired and are now jobless.
Oh.
You don't see any sign of your compatriots, and you don't see Alustin in the crowd at all. There is a small contingent of militia, and they are there to make sure that peace is kept. Other than that, you're free to walk back to the cemetery, past the cemetery, off to the town square, the tavern, wherever you want to go. But I will say this.
Yeah.
It's 9 a.m. in the morning, there and abouts.
Okay.
I guess the first place we should probably go is try to find my compatriots.
Okay.
They may be at the mage's house.
Okay.
So if you'll follow me,
Sure.
and I'll lead the way down
Okay.
to Alustin's house.
That is not hard to find. And sure enough, there is Regali and Ember, and they are just now helping with dishes from Ember, showing the halfling house mom how to cook this particularly tasty meal that may or may not have included protein from insects. But they are
Yes.
just now helping to clear the table and do dishes. So
Or
when
can
you walk
If it
in,
involves insects, then I didn't eat it, and I will be looking for something else to eat for breakfast.
how would you have known?
or Kenku wings.
I
Yeah.
don't entirely trust Ember with food anymore. Like,
Did we get any kind of definitive party agreement or disagreement that Kenku wings are okay to eat?
they are not okay.
I don't think they're okay because they're sentient creatures.
They're sentient.
I think most
It's
of us
problematic.
kind
Those ones were evil.
Morality does not come into this.
It's a gray area.
There is something to be said about eating the flesh of your enemy.
Not interested.
All right.
That sounds like a barbarian thing, not a bard thing.
All right. Duly noted. I guess I should ask, Ember, did you end up sneaking insects into the breakfast somehow?
Sneaking.
Hey, it's good enough for Timon and Pumbaa.
I think Ember does have a very specific list of what Regali is okay with eating.
Okay. Regali, do you trust Ember to stick to your dietary wishes?
Insight check. 22. Ember, are there bugs in this?
In the main dish, yes, not in yours.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good friend.
So
The protein is really good for you, though.
one of the servants opens the door, and Frederick and Orion walk in, and they are ushered into the kitchen prep area where Regali, Ember are helping the halfling house. Who's the woman who's in charge of the house?
She had a name. You gave her a name.
No, she's got a title. Do you remember?
House mother.
House mother? All right. Anyway, she's a halfling, and she has helpers, humans, mostly young girls and young boys who fetch water and whatnot. But anyway, in walk Orion and Frederick.
Before we walk in, I'll have Orion wait here so they don't get too spooked by a new person
Okay.
coming in with me. And I'll kind of get them ready to meet you.
Okay. What are their names?
Regali is the human, and then
Okay.
you'll see a furbolg. Her name is Ember.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And you're
Just wait right here.
sure that they're on board with what we want to make sure,
Oh, yeah.
we're trying to protect our queen.
Oh yeah, they're trustworthy.
Okay. Okay. All right then.
So I'll go on in there, and first thing, hello.
Roll to grapple with a hug. That's a 2 on my hug grapple.
There's not any resistance, so it succeeds.
Yay! Fair warning, your clothes are getting wet.
Why is it so? Why is there so much soap?
Nope, it's tears.
Oh,
We're
Now-
still a little bit angry, but hugs them both.
now,
What are you angry about?
People doing dumb things and not telling us things.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Now, just to prepare you guys, something occurred while we were gone. And
Wait,
Or-
we
Orion-
were I'm
Me and Or-
not staying to listen. I burst through the door.
Well, Ember, Orion has amnesia and does not remember any of us. He remembers the events up till this point, but not us. So this is going to be weird for him. And it's going to be upsetting for her. So just be prepared for that.
Aw, what a nice
This
guy.
time I got a 19 on my grapple to hug Orion.
I don't know who this person is, so I will unsuccessfully try to wiggle out, and I'm being hugged by this, and I'll look past the hug. Is this the human?
Yeah, that's
There are
Regali.
tears. There are
She's-
tears, and she's calling you an idiot and saying it would have been fine. So that's a 2 on the vicious mockery.
I'm
Ember just passes Orion some food.
what do I have to
Frederick some food.
what do I have to roll to avoid
Wisdom check.
no what,
Wisdom
Wisdom save.
throw.
so 15, so I'm okay.
So you make the wisdom save. Good job.
Okay.
Oh
she's-
wait a minute. No,
It
no,
went
we
up.
leveled up. 15 is the thing.
Oh, so I take damage?
No, I think if he meets it, he's okay.
If he meets it, he's
Oh.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, we're good.
I'm like, she's
Just
really-
barely.
and I'll look past to Frederick. She's really friendly but kind of mean too. And I'll just kind of push you away. So my name is Ryan, and you must be Regali.
And at this point, I will take her to the side, kind of like whisper in her ear, like, he has amnesia. He does not know who we are. He knows the events up to here, but from the events that occurred in the Shadowfell, he does no longer remember us.
And then I'm kind of oblivious. You must be Ember. And
I'm just gonna have a breakdown and cry. This has been an emotional roller coaster. It's not. No. Cry.
Ember shoves some food into Orion's hands.
okay. Okay, thank you. And I'll take a bite of it, and I'll just kind of do a double take as I bite into it, because there's something about the taste, and there's a memory there that's lingering with the taste, but I can't quite access the memory. And
Wow.
I kind of look at Ember and go, this is very good. It reminds me of someone's cooking, but I can't quite place it. And I'll just kind of keep eating and then wander off a little bit, kind of confused as to what's going on in my head.
He remembers the stupid bug snacks.
Need to make more of Orion's favorites.
So as I mentioned to Frederick, for the two of you, it's Orion. He doesn't quite look the same. Still the same height. Still, fairly broad shoulders, but not quite as beefcakey as he used to be. And very odd because he's wearing some type of, studded leather armor, and he's armed with a big knife, and he's got a raven that's been flying off and on his shoulder. But it's Orion, and he's a little bit grayscale, but it's still him.
Grayscale?
Well, he's a little washed out. Looks
Okay.
Look a
Go
little
with that.
Goth Orion.
yeah. Not like black eyeliner and black lipstick and stuff like that. He just think of if you've got a filter on your phone and you can desaturize the color. It's just a little bit off.
I imagine that, like, with all the fighting before, there were usually like hues of reds and purples as he worked himself up into going. And
Yeah.
he was a very vibrant person originally. So
So once Regali has composed herself,
that's gonna take a bit.
I'll sit down and I will regale Ember and Regali with my tale, get them up to speed as to what I've been doing and what I'm attempting to do, and I'll finish off with, and Frederick here says that the two of you would be willing to join us as we continue this investigation as to what's going on with the Ebon Triad and this potential of trying to raise three gods into one uber god. is that something that you do want to accompany Frederick and I on?
Okay, Regali's crying again.
And
This is
I'll
a
kind of
horrible first impression.
I'll look at Frederick. I said, "Is she emotionally stable?"
Well, it had just been a very long day. She just had a good friend pass away.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
While Orion was telling the tale, Ember was talking to the raven and also feeding it.
Are the ravens okay with the kittens? I mean, is the raven okay with the kittens?
Yep. Yeah. Raven doesn't have any issues with the kittens whatsoever.
Also, does the raven seem to be an actual animal?
How would you know?
Ember is a druid and can talk to animals.
If it's not an animal.
Can you just
This is
talk
like when
to-
you were trying to figure out if the kittens were animals.
Can you talk to animals just willy-nilly, or do you have to cast a spell first?
Furbolgs can talk to animals and plants willy-nilly, but
Yeah.
I would need a spell to understand them.
Okay. I'm going to say, as far as you're concerned, this raven does not seem to be of this plane. But then again, you haven't visited all the planes, so it might be an actual animal, or it might be something magical.
Pretty vague.
I don't know how else to explain it, other than you're going to have to cast a spell to find out.
Yeah, sure. I'll do speak with animals.
Okay,
So in Frederick's, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
In Frederick's story, did he mention pucks or a rod?
I'm sorry, in
Orion's
Frederick's
Oh, and,
story?
Orion.
I'm sorry, Orion's story.
Oh yes, I've got my pucks, and while I'm telling the story, I'll show the little Faraday bag with the pucks, and I remember something about a rod. I had it in my hand at one point, but
I just lost it.
I don't. Edit that out. But I don't remember ultimately who has it now. I'm not sure. I know I may have had some companions at the time. I don't know what happened with that rod.
Oh,
One of the idiosyncrasies that you've noticed about the new Orion is that he often, and I'm talking like every 10 or 15 minutes, will look down at this curvy, cool looking dagger. Like he's checking the time, to put a modern parlance on it. And it's a dagger you've never seen before. And it's certainly, there's no mistaking that this is a very magical thing.
I'll bring out my frostbite and kind of compare the two. They look like similar in construction, like maybe they were made by the same person.
Certainly the same place.
As you bring
Twist-
out frostbite, I will take out this dagger, and it's like I'm flipping it and doing things that Orion would probably cut himself, flipping the dagger and stuff, and we're looking at our weapons, and we're like, okay, both of these were clearly from the same area. They were made in the same area.
Well, now
Look at
I
the
feel
same
left out. I'm
store.
going to take out my flimsy fighter blade.
Ember takes out her spoon, I guess.
This is a very sad thing that is happening. It's very
So
sad.
sad.
Why is it sad, Frederick?
Well, because he doesn't have any of his memories. That's sad.
Oh, he's got most of his memories.
Yeah,
I know, but not the memories
No,
of
it's
his
just
point.
He's got all the
his
memories he
friends
cares
are
about.
important enough for him to want to sacrifice himself for them. So, like, to lose that piece is rough.
Ember, what did you just say?
I said he's got all the memories he cares about.
See, that's the thing.
Oh, wow.
He doesn't have the one memory he cared the most about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Frederick knows why.
Um,
He didn't fully remember the meal.
so,
Okay.
like,
Oh,
Hey, hang on. Hey, hold those thoughts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Repeat what you guys just said, because that's good stuff, and it's got to go on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ember, what did you say about the...
I said he has all the memories he cares about.
And I'm here to tell you, he is without the one singular memory that he cared the most about. And Frederick knows why.
Ember gives him a beetle snack.
That look of, I know this. I know this. But anyway,
this is the thing. This is
We-
the secret. It's the key.
it's the nostalgia of windmill cookies, isn't it, Dutch child?
well, how close is Regali to Orion? Like,
You mean
distance-wise.
close as in, distance-wise.
Distance-wise.
Regali,
Well,
you
that
just
depends.
gave
Have
him,
you
you
been-
just,
Have you been avoiding the tears, or?
No, because I mean the initial hug didn't last that long, but like if you're like sitting right beside me trying to like soak up as much Orion as you can,
No, now I'm a little creeped out by the fact that
okay.
you're the person that I missed, but also not,
Okay.
and it's a little uncomfortable.
All right. Okay.
I'm also
In that case,
Sorry.
Here's to redirect us. And I said, this is what I found when I was in this mine. And I pull out this thing that we found, and I start reading. And this is what I found. And I start reading this page that we pilfered. And I said, the secrets of this page are most holy. Know ye heretics who invade them, that the countenance of our great Lord is upon you. Okay, if you read this Theldrick, and then I explained to you guys, Theldrick was the high priest of Baal that I managed to kill. You've either slain me or doomed our cause. He who sleeps in the pool is awakened. So I'm reading this to you guys, and I'm explaining what was going on. I explained this big, horrible 6-armed monster that came out of the pool. It was a great battle. I said, but then he starts mentioning this great High Lord named Caius. And I said, did you guys know anything about this Caius guy? And they're talking about going down to, hang on, the Mist March to
Mist Marsh.
Mist March because
Marsh.
Marsh, sorry. That there's something about the lizard folks. I mean, is this where we should go next?
Wait, was Orion actually reading that?
Oh yes, Orion was reading it.
That's new.
What?
Ember leans over to Frederick and is like, "Are you sure this is Orion?"
So for purposes of Zoom, I just pasted you guys the letter that we got underground.
Well, actually, speaking of things we got over underground, did I have a chance to talk to Alestin before Frederick and Orion?
Yes. You had an
Okay.
entire dinner and breakfast with him.
Yeah.
And-
because I wanted to ask about a couple things.
Okay.
One was the flame blade thing that I found. Another one was if he could decipher the writings of the seer that we spoke to, because I have all those papers.
It will take him a while to decipher the scribblings of that mad creature, but he can do it.
Okay.
Okay. So that will be considered downtime while you guys are leveling up.
Okay.
The flame sword, he says, has a history to it. And he knows a little bit about it, but he would have to go to Silvery Moon to find out more. But the flame sword is noted throughout the realms as being the sword that severs ignorance.
Interesting.
Sounds like a good sword.
While you're
Sword.
while you're
You
talking,
also use it for cooking.
No, you cannot.
while you're talking to Alustin and showing him this really cool looking blade, I'm gonna come up behind Regali and kind of peer over the
Wait.
shoulder.
That all happened before.
Oh, it
you
happened
got-
before. Okay, never
That
mind.
happened before.
My bad. Never mind. So,
I had forgotten about the flame sword.
do you guys think we should go to these mist marshes? It kind of seems to be the next. Something is going on there. Something about finding the worms and undead hosts that can carry them. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a fan of the undead.
Me either.
Well,
Neither are we.
that sounds like a great idea, but I did ask Alustin to do some translation for work for me. So
Okay.
before we decide to leave, if I could check in on that, that'd be good.
Oh, your Mist March isn't too far away from us.
Oh, okay.
Well, we've actually, I wouldn't say tamed, but we quelled the lizard folk rebellion out there in the Mist March. We have a northern keep, Blackwall Keep, and we have a southern keep, and that has ostensibly kind of curtailed their chaotic ramblings and hoarding, and they're not peaceful. I wouldn't sit down to dinner with them, but they seem to be a lot more amicable towards humanoids being around the marsh. As long as we don't go in the marsh, they seem to be just perfectly fine raising their young, and so it's no big deal for us.
How far to get to this area?
A couple of days. It's not a big deal. There's actually a really nice farm. Used to be a farm until the guy kind of ran out on his own family. And then, of course, that family is now here destitute. I mean, we do have a small, but it is a rather significant indigent population that we would like to, care for. I mean, we don't leave people to just starve out in the street. I mean, that's more of a Cauldron or a Baldur's Gate kind of thing. So, yeah, I know those guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not a big contingent of bums, but we do have our alcoholics, and
Does
so
does this name, the Great Lord known as Caius, or however it's pronounced, does that ring a bell to you?
it does. But I'll admit I didn't do a deep dive on it, and of course now I have to make a trip to Silvery Moon, so I might as well do that as well
Okay.
to find out more about this Ebon triad. Now, if you wouldn't mind telling me more about this aspect you found in the pool, that would definitely, I mean, my brother is in jail right now. He's going to be on trial for his life. So any details that you could share with me would be great.
Yeah, Ryan, what do you remember about the aspect?
Well, I'll tell him about the 3 sections of the dungeon. One, there was a high priest of Baal there, and then the seer, his weirdness, and then the last one, which was the faceless one, with all the Kenku for miracle. And then when we came out, this thing just erupted from this black tar-like pool. It had 6 arms, and on 5 of the arms there was a claw. One arm it didn't have a claw or a hand, and it, I'll tell him about how it eventually got killed. I will not reveal the fact of that it got transported in the Shadowfell. I'll just say that it was ultimately killed, but we really didn't have that much time to sit down and chat with the thing and get its life history.
Is he aware that like it was slain by one of the Raven Queen's best, or not really?
No.
I was
just
wondering,
fell over
did
dead
he
wrestling.
remember like diving in and being teleported out, or?
No, he doesn't remember that.
Aw.
But what's interesting is that this letter that we found down there, it says the Ebon aspect stirs within the pool, and I'm assuming that's the 6-armed thing, but it's still not ready to emerge. Perhaps a traumatic event could waken it, but then it's only a minor form. And I gotta tell you, if that was its minor form, I don't want to ever meet its major form.
Do you guys think the traumatic event might have been slaying everybody in the cults?
Could be.
Possible.
Could be.
Nah.
And I do remember always running into these, and I'll tell this to Lustin. And I mean, these guys were fanatics. I mean, interrogating them was of no value. They would just scream out death first, or they would go, the last place we were in, they were going on and on about how the worms were going to crawl in our bodies and just eat us for eons. And then this letter talks about worms. So if my new companions are willing, I think a trip to these marshes might be in order while you go to Silvery Moon.
Nothing else, we can at least check in at the keeps and see if there's any new rumblings or rumors over there.
Yeah, I'm game for that. Which one would be the closest, the southern or the northern one?
The northern one would definitely be a lot closer to you.
Okay. I need a horse.
We have a spare horse. I think you'll like it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you might find it familiar.
Has tack and everything.
All right. Well, thank you. Do we want to wait a day and then head out? Or do we want to, since it's early in the morning, do we want to get going?
I think waiting one day would be good, just to, because a lot's happened in the last few hours, hasn't it?
Well, is Lustin trying to go straight for Silvery Moon, or is Lustin still translating the papers I gave him?
Oh, no. Lustin will have to go to Silvery Moon to do all of his work.
Okay.
Oh, okay, got it. And he's willing to leave while his brother's on trial, or?
He's pretty sure Smink's going to get away with it. He's like Donald Trump in that sense.
Is there a chance that he could say anything to ensure that Smank doesn't get away with it?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is there anything Alestin or us could do to ensure Smank doesn't get away with it?
I think his friends are too powerful. He's got...
Really want to save the ecosystem here. Like, ever since you told me how polluted the lake is, I've been
Very upset.
I know we have a bigger mission, but like, I really wanted to save the ecosystem.
Triad of evil gods, a lake. Triad of evil gods, a lake.
A lake.
A lake.
Ember does too,
This is
but
kind of Regali's passion area, you guys.
All right. So,
Ember just sheds a tear.
like that Indian on the side of the road when he sees people littering.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh, you remember that, Thomas?
I don't think I saw it originally, but I see the reference to it.
He knows the reference from Waynesboro.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Not from
All right.
there, actually. I think.
Probably not
Oh, I
politically
think I know it
correct
from The
anymore.
Simpsons, actually.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense. So, you're obviously welcome to your rooms. Feel free to sleep the night away here, and Alestin will prepare to leave in the morning for Silvery Moon.
Okay.
And with that,
That's a good spot
yeah.
to end Act 1. Dun, dun, dun.